You think you know someone, share a bet, a life, a dream. Then one night you find out it's all a lie. That's where my story starts, and it's a gut-wrenching ride you won't forget. If this story stirred something in your heart, give it a like. Share your thoughts below and subscribe to Revenge Forge, where every story reminds us that pain can lead to power. I'm Joel Candler, 42, a custom furniture maker in Seattle, Washington. My business, Candler Designs, pulls in about $650,000 a year, crafting high-end tables and cabinets for folks who drop $20,000 on a dining set without blinking. I've got a craftsman-style house in Capitol Hill, inherited from my dad, with cedar siding and a backyard where our golden retriever Milo chases squirrels. My wife Jocelyn, 34, is a graphic designer, sharp, creative, with a laugh that used to make my worst days feel like nothing. We've been married 10 years. No kids, just us and Milo grilling steaks on weekends, hiking in the Cascades, planning our next getaway to the Oregon coast. I thought we had it all, until I realized she was playing a different game. It started small, like cracks in a foundation you don't notice until the house is falling. Jocelyn started staying late at her studio, blaming client deadlines. She'd come home at 9 p.m. smelling faintly of wine, her phone always face down on the counter. I'd ask how her day was, and she'd give me half answers, her eyes dodging mine. Just work stuff, she'd say, then disappear into the shower. Our Saturday movie nights turned into her needing to catch up with friends, always someone new like Tara or Beth, names I'd never heard before. I'm not a suspicious guy, but I'm not stupid either. Something was off. One night, 1 a.m., I couldn't sleep. Jocelyn was out supposedly at a team happy hour. Milo was snoring at my feet, and her phone was on the kitchen island buzzing. I'd never snooped before, trust was our thing, but the weight in my gut pushed me. I knew her passcode. She'd never changed it. I opened her messages, and there it was, like a punch to the chest, text with a guy named Damon Lasky, her personal trainer. "Miss you already," he wrote with a heart emoji. Her reply, "Can't wait for tomorrow. Room 214, 7 p.m. There were photos, her in a dress I'd never seen, him with a cocky grin, their hands all over each other in what looked like a hotel bar. My hands shook, but I kept scrolling. They'd been meeting for months, planning weekends, laughing about how I was too busy with wood and nails to notice. It got worse. Jocelyn had sent Damon an email forwarded to herself from her work account outlining a plan. "Once we're clear, I'll push for the house and half his business. My lawyer says it's doable. My house. My dad's house left to me in his will, the one I'd spent years restoring. My business built from a garage workshop to a brand that supplied half the Pacific Northwest's elite. She wasn't just cheating, she was plotting to gut me. I didn't smash anything, didn't call her. I'm Joel Candler, methodical, steady like the oak I carve. I took screenshots, backed them up to a cloud drive, and started thinking. By 3 a.m. I'd pulled our bank statements. There it was. $3,200 for fitness sessions with Damon, $1,800 for a hotel in Bellevue, $4,500 on a credit card for work trips to places she'd never mentioned. I checked our shared cloud calendar. Her client meetings lined up perfectly with hotel bookings. My blood was boiling, but I kept it locked down. Rage wouldn't win this. Strategy would. The next day I called my lawyer, Nathan Brooks, a guy who'd handled my business contracts since I landed my first big client. "Nate," I said, voice calm, "Jocelyn's cheating, and she's coming for my assets. I need to protect everything." I sent him the screenshots, the statements, the email. Nathan didn't sugarcoat it. "Washington's a community property state, Joel, but that house is your inheritance, untouchable if we play it right. Her infidelity in this scheme, we can block alimony and limit her share. Start gathering more evidence." I didn't confront Jocelyn. Not yet. I acted normal, grilling salmon for dinner, asking about her day while she lied to my face. "Crazy busy," she said, smiling like nothing was wrong. I nodded, sipped my beer, and planned my next move. I hired a private investigator, Lucas Reed, a former cop with a knack for discretion. Cost me $6,000 up front, but worth it. Lucas tailed Jocelyn for a week, delivering a report that hit like a sledgehammer: photos of her and Damon at a boutique hotel laughing over cocktails. Audio of her telling him Joel's clueless. "We'll have the house by next year." Lucas even tracked Damon's car, a leased BMW, to a gym where he was training other women, all wealthy, all married. Then came the curveball. I got a LinkedIn message from a woman named Hannah, Damon's ex-girlfriend. She was 36, a real estate agent, and she'd heard about me through a mutual contact in Seattle's tight-knit business scene. "I know what Damon's doing," she wrote. "He did it to me too. Can we talk?" We met at a dive bar in Fremont away from prying eyes. Hannah was sharp, no nonsense, still raw from Damon's betrayal. "He's a con artist," she said, sliding me a USB drive. "Bank records text proof he's been scamming women for years. He targets married women, gets them to fall for him, then pushes them to divorce and split the assets. Jocelyn's not his first." The USB was a goldmine. Damon's rap sheet from a 2018 fraud charge in Oregon dropped because the victim settled. Texts to another woman promising a new life after her divorce. Bank transfers showing he'd pocketed $15,000 from one of his clients. Hannah leaned forward, eyes hard. "End him, Joel. For all of us." I nodded. This wasn't just about me anymore. I upped the ante. I bought a GPS tracker, $200 online, small enough to slip under Jocelyn's car. It confirmed she was still meeting Damon twice a week at hotels or his condo in Belltown. Lucas dug deeper, finding emails between Jocelyn and a lawyer, a sleazy guy named Victor Klein. She was building a case claiming I was emotionally distant and obsessed with work to justify alimony and a chunk of my business. She'd even asked her friend Tara to back her up, but Tara, bless her, wasn't playing ball. She forwarded Jocelyn's emails to me anonymously through Lucas. One line burned into my brain: "Joel's too boring to suspect anything. This'll be easy." Boring. I'd built a life most men dream of. I'd given her everything: vacations in Maui, a studio for her designs, freedom to chase her career. And she thought she could paint me as the bad guy. I wasn't boring. I was deliberate. And I was about to show her how wrong she was. I set a trap. I sent Jocelyn an email from a fake account posing as a business broker. "Heard you're selling Candler designs. I've got a buyer, $2 million cash. Let's talk." I knew she'd bite. She'd been eyeing my company like a vulture. Sure enough, she forwarded it to Victor, her lawyer, with a note. "If Joel's selling, I want my cut now." Victor replied, urging her to push for a quick divorce to secure her share. I sent the whole exchange to Nathan. "This is fraud," he said, grinning. "She's done." Jocelyn kept up her act at home, all smiles. "And how was your day?" while texting Damon under the table. I played along, but every night I was in my workshop, not building furniture, but building my case. Lucas got me more security footage from the hotel showing Jocelyn and Damon checking in her wedding ring off his arm around her. Tara sent another bombshell, a voice memo of Jocelyn bragging to her about milking Joel for all he's worth. I didn't flinch. I filed it away, another bullet in the chamber. One night I was at the bar with my buddy Ryan, a contractor who'd worked with me for years. He was scrolling Reddit stories laughing about some guy who'd turned the tables on his cheating ex. "This is you, man," he said, passing me his phone. "You're living a revenge-forged story. Don't let her win." I smirked, but he was right. This wasn't just about surviving Jocelyn's betrayal. It was about rewriting the story on my terms. By week 4, Lucas had enough to bury them. Damon's scam was falling apart. Hannah had tipped off another of his clients, a 40-year-old doctor who'd cut him off. Jocelyn was slipping too. Tara told Lucas she'd overheard Jocelyn panicking about her frozen credit cards. I'd quietly moved $120,000 from our joint account to a new one, leaving her with just enough to squirm. She didn't know I had her lawyer's emails, her texts, her lies. She thought she was still in control. I wasn't ready to strike yet. Timing's everything in a game like this. I kept living my life, crafting a $25,000 walnut dining table for a tech CEO, hiking with Milo, meeting Ryan and the guys for poker. Jocelyn's lies were a storm, but I was the lighthouse, unshakable. What would you do if you found out your world was built on a lie? That's where I'm headed, and trust me, the next move is coming. The Seattle rain was relentless, hammering my workshop's tin roof at 6 a.m. as I sanded a mahogany table, the rhythm keeping my thoughts sharp. Jocelyn's lies and Damon's con game were unraveling, but I wasn't done carving out my justice. My life, my business, my home, my damn dog Milo was mine to protect, and I was playing for keeps. Every move I made was calculated, like planing wood to a perfect finish. Jocelyn thought she could outsmart me, but I was building a case that'd make her regret ever underestimating Joel Candler. Lucas Reed, my PI, called at 8 a.m. with a fresh batch of intel. "Jocelyn's getting sloppy," he said, his voice crackling through the line. He'd hacked into her cloud storage, don't ask me how. Lucas had his ways and found a folder labeled Work Notes. Classic misdirection. Inside were emails between her and Damon planning their next move. One from Damon sent at 2 a.m. Push Victor to file soon. If we get the house, we can flip it for $900,000. My guy's ready to buy. My house. My dad's legacy, the craftsman I'd spent weekends restoring down to the original crown molding. They were plotting to sell it out from under me like I was some chump who'd never notice. I forwarded the email to Nathan Brooks, my lawyer. "This is gold," Nathan said, his voice buzzing with excitement. "Attempted fraud, misuse of marital assets, they're digging their own graves." He suggested we file a motion to block Jocelyn from accessing any property-related documents, citing her intent to liquidate my inheritance. "Washington law's clear," he said. "That house is yours premarital. She's got no claim." I told him to move fast, no hesitation. By noon, I was back in my workshop sketching designs for a $30,000 oak bookshelf for a tech mogul in Bellevue. My business Candler Designs was my rock, $650,000 a year in revenue, a reputation for precision clients who paid top dollar. Jocelyn's betrayal wasn't going to touch that. I checked the GPS tracker on her car. She was at Damon's condo again, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. No shame. Lucas sent photos her slipping out of his place, hair messy, wearing a scarf I'd bought her last Christmas. It stung, but it fueled me. Every lie she told was another nail in her coffin. I decided to tighten the screws. I called my bank and froze our joint accounts, completely transferring $80,000, my half of the remaining balance, to a new account in my name. Jocelyn's credit cards tied to those accounts went dead. She'd notice soon enough. I also had Lucas dig into Victor Klein, her lawyer. Turns out Victor had a reputation for shady tactics, overbilling clients, pushing questionable settlements. Lucas found a disgruntled former client, a guy named Mark, who'd posted on a legal forum about Victor's creative accounting. I sent Mark's post to Nathan. "If Victor's dirty, we can use it," Nathan said. "Keep feeding me ammo." Jocelyn's facade was cracking. She came home that night 10 p.m. fuming when her card got declined at a gas station. "Joel, what the hell?" she snapped, tossing her purse on the counter. "Why's my card not working?" I leaned against the kitchen island, sipping coffee, calm as stone. "Bank issue," I said. "Call them tomorrow." Her eyes narrowed, but she didn't push. She didn't know I had her emails, her texts, her entire plan laid bare. Let her squirm. Lucas's next report was a bombshell. He'd tailed Damon to a meeting with another woman, not Jocelyn, not Hannah, but a 38-year-old divorcee named Erica, a tech executive with a $2 million estate. Damon was running the same playbook, flirty text promises of a future, nudging her toward a divorce to split the assets. Lucas got audio of Damon bragging to Erica about big plans with Jocelyn's money while telling Jocelyn he was all in with her. The guy was a snake, juggling 3 women, maybe more. I told Lucas to keep tabs on Erica. If she flipped like Hannah, we'd have another ally. Hannah, Damon's ex, reached out again. We met at a coffee shop in Ballard, rain streaking the windows. She looked tired but determined. "I found more," she said, handing me another USB. This one had bank records showing Damon had siphoned $12,000 from an older client last year, a married woman who'd paid for his training sessions. There was also a restraining order filed against him in 2019 by a woman in Portland, same MO, same lies. "He's a predator," Hannah said, her voice low. "Jocelyn's just his latest mark." I nodded, pocketing the USB. "He's done," I said, "and so is she." I wasn't just playing defense anymore. I set another trap. I had Lucas leak a fake document to Victor Klein's office disguised as a draft from my business accountant. It claimed Candler Designs was facing a $500,000 tax lien, enough to scare Jocelyn into thinking my company was in trouble. Sure enough, she took the bait. Lucas intercepted an email from her to Damon: "Joel's business is tanking. We need to file now before it's worthless." Damon's reply was cold. "Good. Push Victor. We'll split whatever's left." I sent it all to Nathan. "This is attempted fraud," he said, grinning. "She's done." Jocelyn's world was starting to cave. Tara, her friend who'd been feeding me intel, sent a new voice memo. Jocelyn was venting at a bar, unaware Tara was recording Joel's "so predictable. He'll never see this coming. Damon and I are set." Predictable, I'd built a business from a $10,000 loan turned a rundown house into a $850,000 gem. I wasn't predictable, I was relentless. Tara's betrayal of Jocelyn wasn't personal. She'd told Lucas she was sick of Jocelyn's lies, sick of being used as a prop in her sob story about poor, neglected me. I kept my routine tight workshop gym walks with Milo. The guys at poker night, my crew of battle-scarred buddies, were my anchor. Ryan, my contractor friend, poured me a whiskey one night. "You're a machine, Joel," he said. Most guys would have cracked. "You're rewriting the damn script." I smirked, but inside I was still raw. Jocelyn's betrayal wasn't just about love, it was about trust, about the life I thought we'd built. But I wasn't breaking, I was forging. Lucas caught a break when he hacked into Damon's gym's booking system. Damon was double billing clients, charging $5,000 for premium sessions. That never happened. Lucas sent the records to the gym's owner anonymously with a note. "Check your books." By the next day, Damon was out of a job, his trainer gig gone. His leased BMW got repossessed, spotted on a tow truck outside his condo. Hannah texted me, "He's panicking, keeps calling me begging for cash. Told him to get lost." I didn't smile, but I felt the tide turning. Jocelyn was unraveling too. With her cards frozen, she'd started dipping into her personal savings, $15,000 drained in 2 weeks, mostly on hotel rooms and dinners with Damon. Lucas got photos of her arguing with him outside a restaurant, her face red, his hands waving. The GPS tracker showed her driving to Victor's office 3 times in 1 week, probably begging for a way to salvage her plan. She didn't know I had Nathan preparing a legal hammer, a motion to dismiss her alimony claim based on her fraudulent intent. One night she came home at 11 p.m., eyes puffy, voice shaky. "Joel, we need to talk," she said. Sitting on the couch, Milo at her feet. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "Go ahead." She started crying, the whole script I messed up. "I was lonely. You were always working. Can we fix this?" I let her talk, let her think she had a shot. Then I looked her dead in the eye. "You're not lonely, Jocelyn. You're greedy. And I know everything." Her face went pale, but I didn't elaborate. I walked to my workshop and locked the door. The next day I met Nathan at his office, a sleek space downtown with Puget Sound views. He had the divorce papers drafted, 80 pages of ironclad evidence. Texts, emails, GPS data. Tara's voice memos, Hannah's USB. "She's got no defense," Nathan said. "The house is yours, the business is yours, and we'll block alimony. She'll get her car and maybe $50,000 from savings. That's it." I nodded, but there was no victory lap. This was about survival, not gloating. I started therapy with Dr. Warren, a gruff guy who looked like he'd seen his own battles. "You're not grieving her," he said. "You're grieving the idea of her. Let it go and you'll find your edge again." He was right. I wasn't just a betrayed husband. I was Joel Candler, the guy who'd turned a hobby into a $650,000 empire. I'd rebuild sharper, stronger. The poker crew kept me grounded. Over cards and beers, Ryan raised a toast to Joel, the guy who's turning pain into power. They laughed, but I felt it. This was my story, my forge. I wasn't done yet. Jocelyn and Damon were still out there plotting, but their moves were desperate, sloppy. I had one more play, something to seal their fate, not with anger, but with precision. What would you do if you were holding all the cards, the storm's coming, and I'm ready? The Seattle sky was heavy with clouds, the kind that promised a storm, but held off just to keep you guessing. I was up at 5 a.m. carving a cedar chair in my workshop, the scent of fresh wood grounding me. Jocelyn and Damon were cornered, their lies exposed, their plans crumbling. But I wasn't done. This wasn't about gloating or revenge for its own sake. It was about reclaiming my life piece by deliberate piece. I'm Joel Candler, and I build things, furniture businesses, futures. Nobody was going to take that from me. Lucas Reed. My PI dropped a final report at 7 a.m., his voice steady over the phone. "Damon's in deep," he said. "He's been blacklisted by every major gym in Seattle. The anonymous tip about his double billing had spread, and clients were dropping him like a bad habit. Lucas had more. Damon's landlord was evicting him from his Belltown condo for missed rent, $4,000 past due. His con game was over. Hannah, his ex, had tipped off another of his marks, Erica, the tech executive. Erica confronted Damon at a coffee shop, recorded the whole thing, and sent it to Lucas. In the audio, Damon begged her to keep it quiet, promising to make it right. She told him to shove it. I saved that file for Nathan Brooks, my lawyer. It was another nail in Damon's coffin. Jocelyn was falling apart too. Her graphic design firm put her on indefinite leave after a major client pulled a $25,000 contract citing her unreliable performance. The office gossip about her affair with Damon had spread, fueled by Tara's loose lips and those Reddit stories threads now calling her the Seattle side piece. She'd lost Tara, her last real friend, after I leaked Jocelyn's venomous texts about her. Her social media was a ghost town. Friends unfollowed, comments disabled. She was alone, and I hadn't even fired a shot yet. The truth was doing the work for me. I kept my focus razor sharp. Candler Designs was thriving. I closed a $45,000 deal for a custom dining set for a tech startup's new office. My income was steady at $650,000 a year, and the Craftsman house, my dad's legacy, was locked down as my inheritance, untouchable by Jocelyn's greedy hands. I sold a rental property I'd owned solo for $600,000, funneling the cash into a new investment account safe from her reach. Nathan had filed the motion to block her alimony claims, citing her attempted fraud with the house and my business. She's got nothing, he told me over coffee at his downtown office. The judge will eat her alive. Jocelyn tried one last play. She showed up at the house at 8 p.m., rain-soaked banging on the door. Milo barked, sensing the tension. I let her in, not because I wanted to, but because I wanted to see how far she'd go. She looked wrecked, hair plastered to her face, eyes red from crying. Joel, I'm so sorry, she started, voice breaking. Damon manipulated me. I was stupid. I love you. Can we just start over? She reached for my hand, but I stepped back, arms crossed. You didn't love me, I said, voice like steel. You loved what I built, and you thought you could take it. Her jaw dropped like she hadn't expected me to know everything. Sign the papers, Jocelyn. We're done. She sobbed, begging, but I pointed to the door. She left Milo whining softly as the rain swallowed her footsteps. The next morning, I met Hannah again at a diner in Queen Anne. She'd been tracking Damon's moves, and she had new dirt. He'd tried to borrow $10,000 from a former client, claiming he was starting over. The client reported him to the Better Business Bureau, and now Damon's name was mud in Seattle's fitness scene. Hannah slid me a new USB screenshots of Damon's desperate emails to Jocelyn, begging her to stick with the plan, even as his world collapsed. He's using her, Hannah said, sipping her coffee. But she's too far gone to see it. I nodded. She'll see it soon enough. I decided to pull the trigger. I had Lucas send an anonymous package to Victor Klein's law office, the full dossier on Damon's scams, including his rap sheet, bank records, and Erica's recording. I added a note. Your client's working with a known con artist. Proceed at your own risk. Victor was sleazy, but he wasn't stupid. Within 24 hours, he dropped Jocelyn as a client, citing conflicts of interest. Nathan got the update and laughed. She's got no lawyer now. She's screwed. Jocelyn's desperation hit a new low. Lucas caught her trying to access my business accounts online, failed attempts since I'd changed all the passwords weeks ago. She drained her personal savings to $2,000 selling her designer bags to cover rent on a dingy studio in Pioneer Square. The GPS tracker showed her driving aimlessly some nights, once circling Damon's condo for an hour before leaving. Then came the bombshell: Damon ghosted her. Lucas tracked his phone to a motel in Tacoma where he was hiding out, dodging both Jocelyn and his creditors. Jocelyn's texts to him went unanswered, her voicemails increasingly frantic. Where are you? I need you. This wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't feel sorry for her. She'd built this mess brick by brick. But I wasn't heartless. I had Nathan draft a settlement offer. She'd get her car, $50,000 from our joint savings, and nothing else: no house, no business, no alimony. If she fought it, we'd bury her in court with the fraud evidence. Nathan sent it to her new lawyer, a public defender type who was clearly out of his depth. She didn't respond. She was running out of moves. The divorce hearing was set for early December. Nathan was a machine, his briefcase stuffed with evidence: texts, emails, GPS logs, Tara's voice memos, Hannah's USBs, Erica's recording. This is a slam dunk, he said, adjusting his tie. The judge will see through her sob story. I spent the week before prepping with Dr. Warren, my therapist. You're not just fighting for assets, he said, leaning forward. You're fighting for your future. Own it. His words stuck. This wasn't about Jocelyn or Damon anymore, it was about me rebuilding stronger. The hearing was brutal, clinical. Nathan laid out the case like a master craftsman: Jocelyn's affair, her plot to seize my house and business, Damon's history of fraud. He played Tara's voice memo, Jocelyn's voice cold and calculating, bragging about milking Joel. The judge, a stern woman in her 50s, didn't flinch. Jocelyn's lawyer tried to paint her as a victim of manipulation, but Nathan countered with the email about selling my house, the fake sob story she'd fed Victor. The judge's ruling was swift: no alimony, house, and business mine. Jocelyn got her car and $50,000. She sat there silent as the gavel fell. I didn't look at her. I walked out, the Seattle rain cold on my face. Damon's world was ashes. The BBB complaint triggered a state investigation into his training business, and he was facing fraud charges again. His condo was gone, his reputation shredded. Social media turned him into a punchline: Seattle's shadiest trainer, the blogs called him. Hannah sent me a text: he's done. Thanks for finishing what I couldn't. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Jocelyn moved to a cheaper apartment, $1,200 a month walk-up in a rough part of town. Her design firm didn't renew her contract, and her portfolio site went offline. The Reddit stories threads kept buzzing, never naming her but close enough to hurt. She posted a vague apology on Instagram: I made mistakes, I'm learning, but the comments tore her apart. She deactivated her account the next day. I didn't celebrate. I went back to my workshop, crafting a $18,000 coffee table for a client in Portland. The house felt quieter without Jocelyn, but Milo kept me company, his tail thumping as I worked. I started running again, 5 miles along the waterfront at dawn, the city waking up around me. The poker crew threw a barbecue at Ryan's place, toasting to new chapters. I raised my beer, but my mind was already on the future. One evening, I stopped by a record store in Capitol Hill, browsing vinyl for something to play on my old turntable. A woman was there, early 30s, flipping through jazz records. You a Coltrane fan? I asked, nodding at her stack. She smiled, sharp but warm. Only if you're not one of those purists who hates fusion. I laughed and we talked music, then Seattle, then life. Her name was Lena, a music teacher with a quick wit and a no BS vibe. We grabbed coffee the next week, nothing heavy, just a spark. I wasn't rushing in, but it felt good to feel again. Dr. Warren put it best. You didn't just survive, Joel. You carved a new path. That's strength. As I sit in my workshop now, Milo snoring at my feet, the city humming outside. I know he's right. This story isn't just about betrayal. It's about rebuilding, about forging something unbreakable from the wreckage. I'm Joel Candler, and I'm still here, still building, still standing. You're here because this story meant something. Don't scroll away without leaving a thought in your subscription. Revenge Forge is where real stories find their voice, and yours. What would you have done in my shoes? How do you rebuild after someone tries to take it all? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk.